Don't forget to go back to your why if challenges come up. That is going to be your anchor. That is going to be what helps keep you steady. When we're trying something new for the first time, it's easy to feel really stressed out and overwhelmed. Hold on to your why and work with your manufacturer to navigate these obstacles so that your next production run will be smoother. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Beauty Beneath podcast. I'm your host, Andrea, and this is the place where we delve into the beauty industry, discuss the latest trends and tips on how to grow your business. Today, we're going to be talking about the steps that you need to take once you've launched your brand and your products are in production. The work that you do once you've engaged in a private labeling program is going to be really important, just as much so as the steps leading up to production. This is going to be where you work on your marketing and your sales strategy and ensuring that you have everything aligned for when your products are ready. Without further ado, let's get into it because we have quite a bit to cover. The one thing I recommend for my clients to do while they're waiting for their products to be ready is to prepare your brand assets. Some of my clients like to do this even before. This is going to be where you get samples of your products from your manufacturer and you take some high quality photos, both just of the product itself and lifestyle photography. This is going to help create a visually appealing website if you plan to sell online or lend itself to your content for social media. You're going to want to be thinking about flyers, brochures, presentations, and things that you are going to need to potentially send out to buyers or utilize when you're going to events like trade shows. Other marketing assets you want to think about is educational content. If you are a spa salon owner, esthetician, and other medical professionals or technicians are going to be working on selling your brand, you want them to be very knowledgeable about each product, what they intend to do, why they're good for the potential client that it's being sold to, and you want them to be so well versed that they don't falter. So prepare that educational content for them so they have something to study and reference if needed. Once you have your brand assets, it's going to be a little easier to plan out your marketing strategy. This is, again, going to be different for every brand owner depending on where you're selling. If you are a spa salon owner or an esthetician working in a studio, you are potentially going to be utilizing foot traffic to market your product. You are going to be selling your products when you utilize the same product during a treatment and your client's going to love it. You're going to then present that product for home use. Organic growth, foot traffic, word of mouth, that's going to be really essential for your brand growth. Another thing you want to think about are geo-targeted ads if you're selling at a spa salon or a studio. Social media platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram are invaluable for engaging with your demographic. Use that content that you created in your brand assets to present on social media. You want to also be thinking about paid strategies. Consider Google ads or targeted social media ads to drive online traffic. Influencer collaborations, especially with micro influencers, can really help generate more content for your social media platform. They'll also help generate authentic endorsements that resonates with your demographic. Lastly, events such as trade shows, pop-ups, and networking events within the industry are great opportunities to help market your brand. It's a great way to get the right exposure and also get great feedback on your packaging, your presentation, and your overall story. Another thing we want to be thinking about is planning your fulfillment strategy. Who is fulfilling your orders? This is especially important if you are selling online or on any e-commerce platform. Are you fulfilling it yourself when you're starting out small? That would be the most cost-effective way to do it. Perhaps you're starting a little bit bigger and you're comfortable engaging with a third-party fulfillment service. There are many 3PLs that can help you scale your business and ensure that you're focusing on your marketing and on your sales rather than focusing on the fulfillment piece. We also want to be thinking about how we're going to manage costs and track our sales. What tools are we using to keep track of everything? Remember that budget that you set in place. You want to make sure that you're staying within that budget. Of course, things will come up when you're engaging in photography or paid ads or different marketing strategies, you may need to deviate from your budget slightly, but make sure that you're still in line with where you want it to be starting out. Look at tools like Wave and QuickBooks to keep track of sales and expenses, or even less intimidating, Google Sheets and Excel. This is a great way to just make sure that you're tracking everything going out and everything coming in, and you'll know at what point your business is profitable. You're also going to be able to monitor which channels of sale perform the best for you and allocate your resources accordingly. Remember what I say. Your launch is your greatest opportunity for growth. When you keep track of your expenses and your sales and you start paying attention to the different patterns and different things that are actually working versus not, that's when you'll be able to pivot your brand in a way that's going to be more successful. Next thing, do not fear feedback. This is going to be what actually helps you. The more feedback you get, the better. If there's any constructive criticism from customers, pay attention to what they're saying. Make sure that whatever it is you need to implement in your next production, you're going to be keeping track of that. Is your packaging telling the story properly? Are you actually conveying the message that you set out to? Gather that feedback and communicate with your audience. Also, collect positive feedback. Get some reviews on your products, especially if you're selling online. This is going to be very important for you. Encouraging reviews is what helps build trust with your audience. Then apply what you've learned to enhance your product line in the future, refine your marketing strategies, and have an overall stronger brand in the future. Your overall customer experience should be top priority, not only in the product itself, but the whole experience of engaging with your brand, communicating with you, asking questions, getting responses on time, getting shipments on time. From the minute that a customer engages with your brand, you want to make sure that they are having a positive experience, that they feel taken care of, and that you truly care about helping them with whatever problem the brand is setting out to solve. Don't forget to go back to your why if challenges come up. That is going to be your anchor. That is going to be what helps keep you steady. When we're learning about a new business, when we're trying something new for the first time, it's easy to feel really stressed out and overwhelmed. Hold on to your why and work with your manufacturer to navigate these obstacles so that your next production run will be smoother. Start thinking about forecasting. At what point are you going to be running out of inventory? When you're tracking your sales, you're going to want to know what is the lead time for my next order so that I don't ever come to a place where I don't have product to sell, because that is going to hurt your business. Talk to your manufacturer and say, if I were to place a reorder, what is my lead time? When can I expect to receive my products? Make sure that if you're sourcing packaging from a local supplier, that they still have stock of the components that you chose. Another thing you want to focus on is figuring out how to scale your business from here. Once you've incorporated your feedback and potentially done a few productions, then you're going to think about, okay, where can I expand? What other market can I sell my products in? I have clients that started with small private label programs and actually gotten into brick and mortar retailers in the EU or in Canada. They didn't plan on it, but opportunities came up as they went to events like trade shows and different networking events. So trying to think forward and figuring out how you're going to scale your business and where else you can start selling your brand is something really great to get started on in the early steps. If you're not quite ready for that yet, that's fine. Delve into your sales further. If you're selling online, start looking at your average order per customer. Are you going to be looking at dynamic pricing where you adjust your MSRPs based on the season? Are you going to be looking at some opportunities like bundling and kits that will help upsell your products? These strategies can help maintain your margin throughout the life of your brand. Take a look at your marketing strategies and assess whether they're working for you. You want to make sure that you have a good conversion rate on your website. If your e-commerce conversion rate is around 2 to 3%, then you know you're in good hands. If you see it dipping below that, you know that something in your marketing strategy needs to change. Make sure that the checkout process is simple that you're adding testimonials and feedback to the website, and you're leveraging things like limited time offers and promotions when it's appropriate. Track how much it costs to acquire a new customer. If it costs you something like $50 for a new customer acquisition, but the lifetime spend of that customer is $200, you know you're in good shape. Track peak sales and figure out which of your products is going to be your hero product for the brand. Oftentimes we try to push one product versus the other to be our hero product, but with time, the products kind of speak for itself. And sometimes your target audience, your demographic will decide which product is the hero of the brand. That's why it's so important to track your sales and pay attention to patterns. Now, these things are very relevant if you're selling online, but what if you are a spa and salon owner or an esthetician? You should be tracking how quickly you sell out of a certain product that you are stocking. Those are going to be your quick sellers. Those are going to be the ones that you need to have on reorder consistently. Communicate with your manufacturer. Make sure that as you go into holiday season, they're not going to be out of inventory or have longer lead time to get you product. Keep in touch with your manufacturer about any new product launches that they're adding to their private label program. You want to stay consistent, yes, but your demographic is going to want to see newness from you, especially if they feel really passionately about your brand and your products. What else are you going to be offering them? What is the most intuitive next step for your brand in terms of what products it's going to offer? The expansion of your product line is something you want to start thinking about early on as well. Don't forget to keep track of all the small expenses that we often ignore but add up. Shipping expenses, shipping materials, any platforms that we have to pay for. All of these things seem extra and we don't often factor them into our cost of goods, but they add up and they should be taken into consideration when calculating our actual margin. A lot of times businesses don't look at these expenses. They only look at their cost of goods and factor in product, packaging, labeling, and the cost on the PO with their manufacturer, but they're not looking at all of the other ways that they're spending money in getting the product to their customer. And then they see that they're not profitable and they don't understand why. You have to get really granular and you have to be hyper alert for every expense that's happening in your business. That is going to keep you on target and ensure that you actually are hitting the profit margins that you set out to. Stay curious about what's happening in the market, but don't lose sight of where you started and what you set out to do. What problems did your brand set out to solve? Attend workshops, listen to other brand owners' experiences, and just learn. Learn as much as you can and implement that in your steps going forward. Continue to engage with your customer and cultivate deep relationships with your demographic. This is going to help you get the most accurate and honest feedback possible, which is only going to build your brand up. As you move forward and ensure that you're perfecting the customer experience, that you're optimizing your product line, you're fine-tuning your marketing strategies, you're engaging with your customers, you're exploring new sales opportunities and new networking opportunities. You may even experiment with trying new things like limited editions and bundling and new marketing strategies that you never even heard of, new collaborations with other brands when it's appropriate. You're going to see your brand take on a life of its own and evolve with time. Growth is sometimes scary, but it is very positive, and that is what we set out to do in the first place. So delve right into it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Please leave a comment and follow up with any questions that you may have. If you like what you've heard here, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. With that, we'll see you next time. I'm your host, Andrea. And remember, it's not just skincare, it's a skin lifestyle.